Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 49-year-old from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, England, France, Scotland, Austria, and he is a legend in Denmark and Slovakia. He returns to the shed after episode 15 has produced a lackluster 337 goals, plays, or lessons. And I still invited him back to the shed, even when he banished me from Denmark after his first of 2 gold helmets as a head coach. And that's after 2 gold helmets as a player and a Pokal for fun. And way back in 98, he was a Kelly Cup champion. He is now running amok as a head coach, becoming the first North American head coach to win her all in Slovakia Extra Liga. And folks, he just did it again. Welcome back to the shed, Dan Ceman.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good. I mean, we won it 8 days ago, so
you've already
it's been
gone.
quite a bit of
You've
fun.
had fun.
Yeah,
Isn't it fun?
it's been a fun last week, and they really like extended it. We were doing things all week, like official parties, and the like city square big celebration was on Friday, so that was kind of the official end to the celebrations. But yeah, it was
So you
a
pretty well put
fun
a
week.
week.
But
You put pretty well a week together, then, huh?
yeah, a good solid week of enjoying the fruits of our labor.
Right, of fun. Winning is so fun, isn't it? We did it together,
It
right?
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did.
So
We
did you have
did.
head
Yeah.
protection through this? Did you get gold helmets?
No, we don't. That's not a thing here in Slovakia. No gold
Hopefully
helmets.
there's
Just
no
we've been
injuries.
carrying the cup. Well, I can't verify that. That's for sure. There probably were a few minor ones, not personally, thankfully, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Things can get away from you. For me, I have a bad track record when it comes to winning, right? And what happened after. Things got away from me in Cardiff. The Devils are no longer allowed back at that hotel. And then say in Germany, I cut off my jeans not knowing there was a parade, and perhaps it had a few too many the second day. And you know what? The second day things can get away from you if you haven't really slept much, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
if you didn't know there was a parade. So what are the Slovak traditions when you win?
Well, I mean, it's pretty typical. We were here until all hours at the rink. Um, Everybody was in the dressing room. Like we weren't prepared. Like when you've won before, things are taken out of the dressing room, so nothing gets taken
Wet.
by accident by somebody, or wet, of course, or ruined. And
Right.
nothing was quite prepared. So it was a real riot in the room, dancing,
So
straight
what do you
people I've
mean you
never
weren't
seen
ready to
before in
win?
our
What was
dressing
the
room.
series?
Well, three. We won 4-1. So I mean, just we were ready. Like we we were ready to win it, but we just weren't prepared for the aftermath. So
So was it
we were
like what
ready,
was the
but we were.
final score of the final game?
We won 3-0.
Jeepers, I thought that was a hard question for you. That almost took you a second there.
It was a hard question. Yeah, the
It's
whole
been a
last two
week, eh?
months have just blurred together, and then the last week hasn't. There's a few less brain cells for sure.
It'll come back to you when you get out to your shed later on. I'd forgot about everything until I came out here and started talking about stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It is all a blur though. I mean, the playoffs is just well, it's one
Yeah.
game after the other, and stress, and trying to, as a coach, you're just trying to figure when you lose. It's like that can't happen again. So late nights or no sleep, and right back at it the next day. And they pack it in here in Slovakia. So the format for every series is 2 games in one venue, 2 days off, and then 2 games back to back in the other venue, and then either 1 or 2 days off, and then game off, game off. So
Yeah.
It's 7 games if it goes 7 in either 12 or 13 days. It's nuts.
Yeah, I remember. It's weird because in the second league of Germany, you'd go like playing Friday and Sunday only all season. And then as soon as
Right.
playoffs come,
Exactly.
it's every other day and you just give her tits until
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah. It doesn't make it. It's pretty illogical that you play barely twice a week for the whole season, and then
And
you
then
play
just
every other
get
day in the
after it.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is exhausting. And so what was it? 3 rounds,
Yeah.
best of 7?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yep. First one we went 5, which was nice, and then we went 7. Mikulotza took us to 7 in the semis, and we were down 3-2. So that was pretty
And what was
pretty scary.
interesting about that one is I don't know anything about your league and I don't know anything about the coaches in it, but I did see like how we came to the shed again was I saw you posted you guys had won and I love winning. It's my favorite thing. And then I saw a post that the guy you beat in the semifinals, the other coach put up a picture, you two like handshaking, and he said like, we got up against a great opponent and they were just a little bit better prepared. And I thought, wow, what a classy post that guy made, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I read that as well. And did you also see how much taller than he is than
Right.
that
And
he is
you're
than
quite a
me?
bit taller than me. So that he must be
That's
tall,
what
tall.
that's what I thought you were gonna say, because a lot of people have said, "Man, that picture of you shaking the other coach's hand, he's way taller than you." But
Right.
anyway, yeah, he is. But yeah, very classy guy, younger guy. He it was his first time really at high level professional hockey, and he did great. He did really well. And I made sure I said that after the like in the press conferences after, like, give him
That's nice. Yeah.
some credit, because he did great, and he's going back to that team, Mikulotza, and I hope they give him a full year to work with, because it gets pretty cutthroat here and anywhere in professional hockey, but in Slovakia in particular, they're pretty quick to fire the coach.
Well, and I've always found that very interesting when they do that in Europe. They did it in the second league in Germany too. Like, and even the DL, it's that November, that national team break. Those coaches, there's a lot of them getting the axe that week.
That's right. That's the time when you make some big
That
decisions.
is some, there's zigging and zagging in the coaching world that week, isn't there?
Well, the last team I coached, Limbs, I didn't even make it to the November break.
And I always find that interesting because I remember when they used to be like a bigger budget team, and I know they got peanuts to pay now. And then you sign a guy to be your coach, and then you give him a shitty budget. And then instead of giving him more money to get better players, they fire him in Europe and pay another coach more money. Why wouldn't you invest in the
Yeah.
players to help the coach?
Well, in that particular circumstance too, um, we were really short on bodies. It was first year back from COVID, and everybody, like, there was a lot of sickness in hockey. There were just everybody had something, not necessarily COVID. COVID was around still too, but of course everybody had been in lockdowns and all this. So massive amount of major problems for teams, and we had an average of just over 6 players out for the. What did I coach? I think I coached 16 games or something, and we were short 6 players on average. That's a lot of players.
That and yeah, and
And
then when you do the domino
when
effect of if you're losing top players, then all of a sudden you got a different
yeah,
lineup.
yeah, yeah, very different. Even with if it's a couple of your top players and 4 depth guys, it's still a major impact. So I needed some bodies, and I was pushing to get. We had one import spot available. I was pushing and pushing, and they decided to go a different route. Pay
Pay the next
to
guy
sit around for the rest of the season. Pay the next guy. The and the
instead
next
of fill
guy
another import
who
spot that could be a game breaker. Way to
yeah,
go, guys! Keep it up,
yeah.
Europe. I can say
Well,
what I want. It's my
they
shed. I
fired.
know you can't say stuff, but I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, I will just say the truth though. Like, they fired me. They fired the top scorer, Dragan Umasevich, or good player, offensive guy. They fired him a week later. They brought in a new coach. They won the first one, as you often do. Then they lost 13 in a row. So
Yeah, that's what you get for firing shed guys.
So not that I'm bitter. I mean, it's all worked out. I'm in a
Don't
great
worry,
spot
Dan. I
here.
wasn't even bitter when I wasn't asked back to Sooner Yuski. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. You weren't bitter.
No. Yeah. Bun in the oven,
I
toddler,
love
second in
I
league scoring, win the championship. Rookie coach gets a
hey,
gold helmet. Asked to kindly leave. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
yeah. We went over this on the last
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk about it anymore? That's fine.
podcast.
Yeah.
No, we can talk about it. What was happening was every year that we won for Sonyaska, we we decided to have one less import. Let's make it harder on ourselves. And then
I think
so
it's
that was
more
I
than
mean I had
one.
to well
It's
it
always around
was over the
Christmas. They'd
years it
bring
was
in a
like
couple, right? And then like the
yeah,
young
yeah,
Danes would get their chance to play at the start of the year. But come playoff time, it was a different roster. Like we brought in the Finn there, Antsy, and we brought in Aslan.
yep,
So
yep,
changes
that's
the
right.
ice time for the
Yeah.
young
Yeah, I mean,
Danes.
right. I mean, you never want to start with your maxed out import limit if you can help it, if you don't have to. But you also, I mean, 4 out of 7, that's probably, you're just making it more challenging for no particular reason.
Yeah, right.
And then you got to tell good guys like you, good hockey players, that you don't have a spot for them.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a weird summer for me. And I've brought it up on here before. It was like you win the
Yeah.
championship and you're the happiest you can be as a hockey player. And I had had a successful year, and Quirky and I had done really well. And then when you're
Yeah.
not asked back and you get on that plane with your young family and you're like, I don't even know what we're doing next. And you can
Yeah.
start second guessing yourself as a guy and a teammate. And when you have a season like that and you're not asked back, I was literally thinking, I'm like, so am I like the problem? Am I a problem? Like I'm not getting asked back, second in the league in scoring, and we win the championship. And then I was like, yeah, it was a weird time in my life that summer. And then you know what? You were the one that kind of picked me up and got me to stand up and dust myself off. Was you called me that summer, and it was a while later, and I was so pissed off at you guys. I wasn't talking to any of you, but you called me and said, Wally, what is going on? I told you I'd give you a great reference wherever you wanted to go. I would say great things. And I haven't got one call from any team.
Yeah.
And I was like, pardon?
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah, I was really waiting for that call because I felt bad and I couldn't wait to just say all the best things about you. And nobody called.
Nobody called. And that's was the day I was like, well, what is my agent doing? Like, if nobody's called, not one team's called, and like after the season I just had, and I got a young family, I'm like, I got to get a job. And that was what spurred me. And you were the one that told me which teams to look at in the UK. But I then did send
Yeah,
out the mass email to all the teams, and that's how I ended up in Cardiff and kindly
right.
let my agent go the next day. And you know what's
Yeah,
how weird how it all works out is you called me while I was at the cottage here, and we talked about doing the MBA, and then I talked to Cardiff that same week. The wife and I go for a drive where we might live in Kincardine, Ontario. The house is for sale that day. Buy it 2 days later. Next thing I know, I'm moving to Kincardine, and then the shed was built, right?
yeah.
It all works out for a
Well,
reason, right?
it often does work out
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. It's all interesting times though. And I was wondering for you though, right? You get let go from Lentz and you got let go from Velak, which looked like some baloney
Yep.
too. That was like a month or two in the season. And like, I don't know, as a coach, for me, if a team continues to improve throughout a year, that's good coaching. When teams start off hot and get worse, that's bad coaching. And if you don't give the guy past
Yeah.
November, how do you know if they're going to continue, if they're going to get better or not? They're just getting to know each other, right?
Right. Especially you have a lot of turnover, which is usually the case over here. And I
And then it
mean,
takes a while to
you don't
gel.
over here you rarely get I would say never, but rarely get fired based on, analytics or the team's what are we missing here? It's just wins and losses. And
Yeah.
so I had a situation this year. We started 0-4. We had some other stuff going on with the energy crisis. We had to move like less than a week before the season. We had to move into this small practice facility. And we have a beautiful stadium here, 8,500 people stadium. and we had to move, and just all of a sudden in the morning we get a message. We got to. I mean, I had heard about it, but the players knew nothing about it. And there's some high-end players on our team who I heavily recruited, that they were going to the best organization in Slovakia, one of the best I'd ever been in, and beautiful facilities and all this. And we do have a really nice dressing room and a spa area, and just really nice.
Really?
And we're moving into a place where you have like your stall, and that's it. Like, there's no secondary room where you put your jackets and shoes. It's you just throw everything in your locker.
And how long
Because
were you in
that's
there
all they
for?
had. Couple, what was it? I don't know exactly. I can't remember. Six weeks or something. 4 weeks, because we postponed 1 or 2 games. Yeah, I got 6 weeks or so, because we went 0-4, and then we started winning there as well. Like, it was hard to play there because nobody went too. That was the thing. It was a tiny little place, but if it had been packed out with fans,
It'd be
it would have
fun.
been kind of cool.
Yeah.
Low ceiling and everything, but nobody came because it was freezing cold, and
So it's
bad
almost like
sight
the old
lines and all this.
Vojens arena.
Yeah, it was similar, not quite as old, but it was the same size.
So then you guys did turn
So
it
that
around though.
was
So like, right?
Yeah. So at 0-4, I had a meeting with our board members here, and they said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Listen to these numbers, and you'll know that something is going on besides we're just playing badly. We had the most shots in the league on average per game, and the least against, and we were 4 losses in a row, which probably would be very hard to find a period of time where anybody's got the most shots and the least shots allowed.
Yeah.
And so our shooting percentage was like 3.5%, and our goalies had a rough start too. They were at like
Sounds like
87%. So it was a bad combination. But it was a stressful time for everybody, because the team was losing money. Well, losing sucks, but they were losing, like, we were losing
because they don't have any of their
money and
fans.
massive
They're losing
pressure on.
8,000 tickets a game.
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, it was a rough time, but they stuck behind us, and we started winning some games. And then one turning point, our management got us back into the building, paying a massive amount per month. The energy crisis, I mean, ridiculous how much rent we have to pay here in terms of what I've heard from other clubs. But I mean, beautiful facility. Anyway, the team found a way to pay it, and then stuck with it, and we won a championship. So
what place did you finish in the regular season? Yeah, you got to. I think you, like, especially when they're the turnover in Europe, when you're bringing all these new guys.
Yeah,
you don't really become a true team by November, I don't think.
Right. We had 12 new players from the previous season,
right.
So it was going to take a little while. I mean, nobody expected us to go 0-4. But
well, just so you know, I'm a coach now too. I was an under 9.
Are you?
Gals house league coach this year. We dominated the circuit.
Really?
Yeah. And the year before, I was the under 11 boys coach. That was AE. And you know what? That small world is first episode we were together, 15. You were talking about Windsor and some distillery. And I'm like, I don't know. I've hardly been to Windsor since I was a kid. Well, we went to all Ontario's after starting 0-3. Just that's what made me think of it. And I drove by that distillery and I'm like, Dan Ceman, Yeah.
Hiram Walker's Distillery. That's where my father worked while I was a kid until he retired.
Tough area there downtown Windsor these days, though. Eh? That's where our hotel was. It's interesting out there.
Downtown is, I mean, they're putting some money into it, and the university has bought some buildings, and St. Clair College, the college has bought some buildings, but there's a lot of homeless, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was. Yep. We went to like the place called the Dugout right by the hotel. There's like a dude sleeping right at the front door when like me and the under 11s are heading in. But fun times was I just got the ice this last weekend, and I got my squad back from 2 years ago that went to all Ontario's, and we had a scrimmage because I got to get ready to go over to Cardiff to play a game for Josh Batch's testimonial. So I had the whole squad, and
Oh,
then
okay.
me and the other coach laced them up on the opposite teams, and we had a full blown best of 7. And yeah, I was exhausted. When you haven't exercised in
I was
5
gonna
years,
say.
hockey's tiring.
I was gonna say, how was your endurance level? That's where I
Not
thought you might
yeah,
struggle.
not good. And yeah, I can understand why you'd say that, because now you talk around in your shed and you start realizing how all the hockey world works, and that like the coaches call former players and former coaches to find out what people are like, and the only way you keep getting jobs is depending what those people say when they're called. And
Yeah,
the time you told me that, I was like, how did you ever sign me? Do you remember what the scouting report was?
absolutely. And I was wondering if you'd bring it up, because I wasn't going to bring it up because it's not
No, you can say it.
complimentary in
Just
any
say it,
way.
because you know what? You
Okay.
decided to sign me, and I thank you. Right? Kept me
I
going.
call I called somebody and they said, um, good hockey player, highly skilled, body like a bag of milk.
I remember you'd said it was great guy, great teammate, silky hands, but body like a milk bag.
Yeah. But it was
Things haven't
body like a
changed, Dan.
bag of milk was,
A bag of milk.
yeah.
Who would have
Well,
said that about me? That's rude.
it's very descriptive.
Right?
I've never forgotten that description because
And you
that guy
decided to
is
sign me after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You
think
got
I
to think
found some
outside the
video. Isn't
box,
as
right?
easy to find video. Yeah, I mean, still got to put the puck in the net. You got to have guys can do that. So it doesn't really matter if their bodies look like a bag of milk or not.
That's right. And I still found it interesting how you ended up, because I remember that's when I was asked to kindly leave Germany from another shed guy, Rico Rossi. But when he asked me to kindly leave Germany, and I was, Colby was a baby, and I didn't have a job, and it was in the summer, and I was tiling a bathroom for my uncle. And that's when you called me for the first time, and we had our first chat. And I was curious how you ever found me and like got my number, because the more I talk around in my shed, there's always a connection, and I didn't have a connection to you that I know
I
of.
have no recollection. I just through an agent, I think.
So maybe he
As far
was
as
working
I
for me
don't
at that
recall.
point.
At that point, he was trying to get you jobs. Yeah,
Right. A little
yeah.
more than the next year. Maybe he was like, geez, I got to find a job for this kid again.
Again, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll leave it up to him this time, I guess is what he's thinking. uh, yeah, I don't know how you found me, but thanks for calling me that day. And I always say shed
yeah.
guys know shed guys. I get into how we know each other. Is the spooge dog, right?
Shoe dog.
Chewy, you called him? Spooge
Yeah,
dog?
yeah, shoe. Yeah,
Spooge diggity dog. We talked about
yeah.
that
He's got a
before, but
lot of nicknames, but yeah,
so
yeah.
you played with him Windsor Junior C, is that right?
That was our first team. A bunch of Kincardine hockey guys went down to University of Windsor to go to school, and we played for the quite a few of us played for the Bell River Canadians junior C that first year of university.
Okay. So when did you start winning? Because I what I find interesting is guys that learn how to win and like do it even at a young age, that they find ways to continue winning in their career. When was the first time you won?
Yeah,
It's before the coast,
well,
wasn't it?
I mean, that was we won that year. We barely lost a game that year though in Bell River. We weren't really living a healthy lifestyle. We were living a typical first year university lifestyle and winning. I think we lost. I don't. I think we lost one in the regular season and then two in the playoffs. It was nuts. We were way too good.
Good.
That
Mhm.
that was they put a great team together. So that was my first like real championship, I think.
And when you win like your first real championship, it sticks with you, doesn't it? It's really fun.
Yeah, it's super fun, and
Mhm.
you want to do it again and
Again.
again and
Yeah.
again.
It's like
Yeah.
addicting, you know?
It is very addictive, but there's certain guys who seem to, even like in pickup hockey, because they're crazy competitive, or just who seem to win more than others.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. hmm Yeah, I really enjoy it. And am still addicted to it. And so the
Yeah.
next year when I'm coaching, I'm going to try and figure out a way to get them little fellows to win, because it makes you brothers for life. And like you have better relationships with the people you won with than you lost with, right?
Oh, absolutely. You have some kind of close to family connection for the rest of your lives, and it's guys you can always run into no matter what, and start talking right away. I mean, you have those people in your life anyway, but it's automatic with
Yeah.
championship teams. You can
Well,
just
like
have
you
a
have your hockey
conversation
buddies
and
and you can have
a
brothers on a
beer.
team, but there's not as many of them when you didn't win, right? There's the few
Right,
you were hanging out with every day, but when you win it,
right.
everybody's like that.
Yeah,
Speaking of
that's right.
small hockey
And
world, though,
I
my first
just
one, my first
mm,
championship, one of them other than like minor hockey, was the Sutherland Cup with
mhm.
my hometown Elmira Sure Kings. And there's a shed guy coaching Leamington right now in the Sutherland Cup finals. And small world was my son just went to watch game one of the Sutherland Cup. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. He's going with his buddy to see that, because that like changed my hockey career, I think, was seeing the Elmira Sure Kings win the Sutherland Cup as a kid and seeing what they had to do it, and then see what it did to your community and your school and the
Yeah,
town. And then
yeah.
that's all you want to do is do what they did. And then we did. And now Dale Mitchell's coaching Leamington, and he's trying to do that,
Oh,
right?
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Dale Mitchell, yeah, had a
Legend of
many
Windsor, your
years
hometown,
in
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was on the part of some huge Spitfire teams there, and
Mm-hmm.
then ended up playing in Denmark for quite a few years. Was a legendary character type player,
Really? Like
involved a lot
character.
in yeah, as in agitator, goal scorer, of course, great
Yeah,
shot, but agitator, hard to play against. Fans of his team loved him. Fans of every other team hated
hated
him.
him.
One of those guys.
Good
Yeah,
mustache too, eh?
great stash. Yep,
Yeah.
like to have fun. I heard kind of
That's good.
similar
Sounds like a shed guy.
personality to you. Good guy. Yeah,
Do
heard
you know
he's a
what? Do you
good
know what
guy.
he wrote to me the other day when I said like good luck in the Southern Cup? I just had my 20-year anniversary with my team, and like we still have a group chat to this day where fellows are writing to each other still 22 years later. And I just said good luck.
Oh
And
wow.
what he wrote to me, I couldn't agree more with. He said, people talk a lot about on the coaching side, people talk a lot about development. Um, but I think winning breeds something different. And I couldn't agree more that winning, it changes you. And there's so many people that talk about development, ice time. And it's all about skating around pylons, shooting it in top corner, and it's all about skills. And it's like, well, that's not what it takes to win.
Yeah, that's a really interesting comment by Dale there. That's because yeah, once it's such a big motivator,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn something about yourself and how hard it is to do. Yeah, yeah, winning does breed success, that's for sure. And build like culture is the big word for years now. Building a culture. Well, winning is the
It's
best way to build a culture, because
yeah.
you buy it, you get automatic buy-in. Okay, so how do you do it? Well, we just figured out how to do it, and this is how we have what we got to replicate year after year after year.
Yeah. And I also found just going to the finals too, like when like I lost a couple times in the finals, and the disappointment of getting that close can really spur you on as well. But then
Yeah,
it takes winning to really get how fun it can get.
yeah. You know, and saying that about how disappointed it is, it upsets me so much when I hear people saying, "Oh, they don't care enough. The players, they make their money and they don't care." There's people crying
Yeah,
after
crying.
they lose
Grown
in the
men.
finals, where you
I
would
was yeah,
grown men crying,
yeah.
and it's so, and you never know that unless you're a sports, a sports a player of any sport really, and you've had that chance to be successful, and then the agony of defeat is so hard.
Well, I to be honest, I never cried losing in the finals until after I had won. And then when I would lose in the finals, I would, because I knew that how opposite it could be, and how much fun it could have been. Then like before I knew what it could be like, you lose in the finals and you're like, there's always next year. But it's like even watching my son's team this year, it's like I thought they had everything they needed to win it all. And they did win international silver stick, but it's like, then they don't win in the playoffs. It's like, well, you don't get that many chances in your life. It's like those kids that are only going to play minor hockey, they only got a handful of chances to do something special. The
Right.
kid, you play
Yeah.
10 years pro, you get a lot more chances, but they're not a given you're going to get to do that. And every time you don't get it done, it is one less chance to have a time.
Ha-
All right.
have that special moment. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for
And
sure.
it brings communities together, doesn't it? Like your town must have all came together this week.
Oh, it's been incredible to see. Incredible. So this organization has been a powerhouse through different periods of time. When it was communist country, they were a powerhouse. One of the in Czechoslovakia, they were one of the big teams. And then there's stories about flying back and forth to Czech and being in championships, and that's from like the 80s. And then they had a period in the early 2000s. They won several, and then between something like 2008 to through 2014, over 6 years, they won three or four, and then nothing since. And when I took over last year at the end of the season, it had been, oh gosh, I can't remember if it was 4 or 6 years that they hadn't won the quarterfinals. So that was a massive step in the right direction. And then everybody was so excited this year. Maybe this is going to be the year, and huge pressure, because when a community has had success, so much success over decades, then they expect it. And
Yo,
it
yeah.
had been 8 years. Yeah. So it's not easy. So over 8 years, they hadn't won, and a lot of pressure on management here and on us. And then to do it, unbelievable. So like sellouts. I don't think our first game of the quarterfinals was a sellout, but it was close. And then just rolled sellouts the whole rest of the way. It was unbelievable, and the fans have been incredible. We were signed. We had an autograph signing the other day, Wednesday. It was supposed to run from 5 till 8ish or so. We were there till 11:45 signing autographs. It was incredible, and they're stand. I mean,
That's awesome.
it
And that all the
we were
players
pretty.
do that, right? It's like,
Yes, it was very nice of the guys to stay, but of course, you know that these people are standing in line for 5 hours down the road, just shuffling along,
just for
waiting
a
to
signature.
meet their heroes. Yeah, for a picture and a signature and shake their hand. So we're not leaving, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, that's wow, it sounds like you got a fan base, but you know what? Winning does that, right? It's like when that happened in Cardiff, when I went there after Sunderjuski, like, and they had just got new owners. They had like a revolt with the fans the year before where they weren't coming and they're showing that they weren't going to come and whatever. And then we start the year and it was like half full. And then you start winning some games. And next thing you know, the place is rocking.
Yeah,
It's the talk of the
yeah,
town, right?
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were in when I took over last year in March. There's only 6 games left in the regular season, and my first game, because they were in six, I think. My first game, there was 1,000 people in here in the 8,450 seat arena, and then
And they're
we
making the
we
playoffs in
lost.
sixth place.
Yeah, it's like six, which was totally unacceptable.
Right. That's culture,
Then
right?
we Yeah, so we lost that game actually, and then we won five in a row to end the year. We got into fifth, and then
you
there was
you
some
went to semis,
sparkling,
right?
something special was happening. Yeah, yeah, we won. We beat Micheloce again in six, and then we took Slovan, who was the first place team and it was a powerhouse last year. Took them to the seventh game. We lost in overtime. It was incredible.
Oh,
That was really great group too. Yeah, it was tough
losing in
to handle
overtime in
that,
game
but
seven's tough.
yeah, but on
Mm,
the other hand, like we knew as a coaching staff that we completely got everything out of the players that we could
you could.
possibly get. And it was a great group of guys, and they were given everything. We were kind of a small team, and Slovan was not. So their guys were really putting it on the line. So it was great. But then, of course, this year is just.
Oh,
I mean, you can't
mm.
compare.
No, you can't. No, I understand. Okay, poster picks. Did you guys do like an outdoor game? Looks like you're strutting your shit out to an outdoor rink.
Yeah, yeah. We played in Bratislava in a soccer stadium.
How many fans are
That was
going to
cool. That
that?
was 40 or 30 35 or something. It was pretty cool. It was raining, unfortunately. That was the only thing that was unfortunate for the organizers and everything, but it was cool, a really cool experience. We
Yeah.
lost, so I was mad after,
Yeah.
but no, it was an excellent experience. It was cool. We did one in Banska Bystrica when I coached there, and that
Banska
it
Bystrica.
rained. Yeah, or Bystrica. But
Okay.
you played. I don't expect you to know that because you played in Sunnyuska and you don't know how to say that. So
Sunderyuski. Right? Isn't that how you say it?
right, yeah. Oh,
Sunderyuski.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, next poster pick. You're wearing a nice suit. I didn't think you were that good of a dresser. It was like a 10 out of 10 suit. You even had like the orange piece coming out of the pocket, eh?
Yeah,
You're really
and
getting
and
dolled
that
up these
orange.
days.
Yeah, well, yeah, the orange handkerchief thing that was actually came from a classic old jersey from the Košice championship years, and they cut it up and put it in there. What is I didn't know our
So they're
coaching staff
dressing you?
didn't think of that. I don't know who. Yeah, I mean
You don't even
we
choose
went
what you wear to
during the
games
season.
now. They're dressing you.
Well, we have sponsor. Most teams have sponsor like attire for the
So you got to
players
wear
when they
it.
come to
Yeah.
the rink sometimes, and so. But I mean, going into the playoffs, we knew that the other big teams like Slovan had suits on, and we knew Michelots had just gotten some nice new suits. You do notice these things as coaches now, and they're on TV and they're looking good. And
Yeah.
we had like winter jackets, and we're like, it'd be nice to go into the playoffs with and
Like,
look pretty good. And then our
mhm.
goalie coach was he's a younger guy, so he's really was quite on board to look good for
Yeah.
the pictures on the bench. And so yeah, so we got a sponsor, Mono, and they put it together, and it looked really good. I thought they looked
Yeah.
nice.
No, I mean, I wrote it down for like the notes is how great that suit looked. Even the handkerchief, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Really well done. You know what? You're really starting to look like a coach now, eh?
yeah,
The pictures
yeah.
I saw, you really
Like
have that look of a weathered coach that's seen it all.
yeah, weathered, like a little like borderline nuts guy with bags under his eyes. Yeah, yeah, that's my look now.
Uh, yeah, well, it's hockey coaches' lives are different, right? In Europe, like you've won the championship, and you've also been on 4 teams in 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. I've won 5 championships as a coach. Sorry, one as an assistant, 4 as a head coach, and I've been fired quite a few times too. That's the coaching life in Europe too. My daughter got so used to it. Last year in Linz, we didn't tell her right when I was told. We didn't tell her, and the next day when she got home from school, we're like, Callie, we got something to tell you. She goes right away. She goes, "Did you get fired again?" Which is quite funny,
Oh,
but because she said it so matter of factly, but also it made me a little sad that
yeah,
it
that
was so normal in her life.
right.
She was like, "Are we gonna have to move again?" She was worried that we'd have to. And I said, "We're not moving until the end of the school year." So
Yeah, she'd have a
yeah.
different story, right? How many languages does she speak?
Well, yeah, she knew she was fluent in Danish when she left Denmark, and then she
Really?
picked up
That's a tough language.
Spanish and yeah, I know. That's when you're exposed to it every day, then you get it. But and then she left Slovakia the first time knowing Spanish because at their kindergarten they were being taught Spanish by a more effective teacher than the Slovak teacher. So she didn't really know Slovak, but
But
she
she
knew
knew Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
different.
funny. And then German, she didn't really pick up too much
In
in
Austria
Austria.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's weird when you talk around, right? It's like you get known in different circles of hockey. It's like I know the second league in Germany and German hockey, and I know the UK and I know Denmark, but like you're really like a trailblazer in the Slovak league, eh? Like you must know that league inside
yeah,
and out now, and you'll know all the domestic
yeah.
players and all that.
Right. Yeah, I'm quite comfortable in the league, and yeah, there were 2 great years in Banska Bystrica and with championship teams. The second year, well, for a while we said that we won the championship the second year. That was the year that was cut short to COVID. The league just shut down with 5 days left. But we were in first place, mathematically impossible to catch us. We're the second place team. We're in first. So the owner of the team at the time, they've sold it since then, but the Koval family, good people, he was a lawyer, and he a powerful lawyer, and he found out in the league constitution that it said there must be a champion every year, no matter what, if there's war or whatever. And so he drove down to Bratislava, grabbed the cup, and brought it back before everything was going to be shut down. We had like a day to have our cup ceremony, like a celebration. So we went out with the cup. We were drinking out of it and all that, and putting it all over social media. And of course, the organization was kind of playing it hard so that other teams would we knew what the reaction would be. We didn't even play the playoffs, and you guys are champions. Like, yeah, right. But we took credit for it at the time, and then the league said, "No,
Really?
that's not going to happen. We can't get. There was too much outcry, public outcry, and but I can accept that we didn't play the playoffs, so we were
Well, that's
really
hilarious though, because you know how the UK works and the league champions, the regular season, the Devils pretty well had it
right.
taken care of, and it got shut down, and they were ahead by like, man, it would have been really hard to not win it, and they did not give it to them, and they decided they weren't going to have a champion, and the only people upset about that one were the Cardiff folks, right? Not the whole league.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Everybody was like, yes, great timing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I found it interesting now that because what's I'm being honest is I didn't look at any of the pictures, the videos of us winning until in the last year or two, like since I've gotten over stuff and talked about it, talking helps. But I found it interesting when I saw that poster. Winning in Slovakia is called Magistry. In Germany, I was a Meister. In Denmark, we were Mestras.
Mestra, yeah. And they all have similar songs that they sing. I think in Denmark, I still remember Vi er Mestrana. And here it's a Meistry. So
Meistry, and in Germany is we are the Meisterschaft, the Meister. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the songs. They're
more
great.
polka, more Germany, more polka based. Yeah,
people start singing that, you could get pretty totaled those days. So this smug grin you got behind the bench now, I've seen it a couple times. That picture on that poster where it says you're the Magistries or whatever, you're in the middle of that poster with a pretty smug shit-eating grin on your face, eh?
Whoever put that poster together did a great job. Just how not just because I'm right in the middle with
right. It really makes you pop,
smug,
right? Like you're getting the credit there.
It does, yeah. But they did a really nice job of that. I think we should. I don't know if I could wear that T-shirt with my own face right in the middle of it, but I think it should. I saw somebody made it into a T-shirt. It would be pretty arrogant of me to wear that, but I probably would wear it to like. I would wear it with the guys back home, like to the pool party or something, just walk around strutting with the with my own face on my.
So you know what they made us do in Cardiff? We win the Challenge Cup the first year, come back for the next year. Everybody that had been on the team, they put the picture of our faces of us holding the trophy on our cars. We'd drive around town with ourselves on our car. So I'd be at like a red light. The guy would look over at me, look down at the door, then look back up at me and like, really, buddy? You got to picture yourself on your car?
When I played in Nottingham, there were a lot of the cars had the players' pictures on it. I luckily didn't, but yeah, you definitely can't.
If you have my hobbies outside of the rink, you can't even go park at a bar because everybody knows.
You can't. Yeah, you got to park it down the street.
Yeah.
That's right. You can't be shooting anybody the bird or anything.
No. Can't have much road rage when your face is on your car. Next poster pick, mascot at the front of the bus. What is that? What kind of bird is that thing? Who is that?
That's me.
That's you dressed
No,
as
it's
the
not me.
mascot. I've dressed
No,
as a mascot
it's
before.
it's not me. I have had that guy's head on.
Yeah.
After we beat Michelotze, that head was making its rounds, and the president of the team had it on, and we were celebrating after
So what are you guys
the
called? What is that
semis,
thing?
and I don't know what that is, to be honest. We're
Oh,
the Steelers in Slovak, obviously.
really?
We're
You're a
the
Steelers team
Steelers.
too.
Yeah,
Geez,
we're
I'm all over the Steelers. Sheffield, Beatingham.
yeah,
Okay.
Beatingham, yeah.
If
It's a
if anybody in town in
steel city.
Košice needs heat treatment, I work for Superheat. We do it remotely here for Picard. Reach out. You want some drawings? That's my squad. So if you're the Steelers, if there's any heat treatment over there, let us know. We're worldwide, folks. Right?
Okay. All
Free
right.
ads.
Good plug.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
Anyways,
How many people listened to the last one where I was on? Did you just say
337. And I went to check
Oh,
out how many
okay.
people watched on YouTube, and I guess I never even uploaded yours. That must have still been too bad of you.
Ah, well, yeah. So clearly that plug you just made for yourself is going to really make you a lot of money.
It's gonna get to at least 337 people, probably.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody, if it would be listened to in Slovakia. I wonder.
Well, I think so, because it's been listened to in Slovakia before. And did you know we are now at 79
Okay.
countries? Yep. 79
Oh,
countries have
really?
listened to the shed. Yep. And fun
That's
fact for
impressive.
you. Yeah. We're having fun all over the world. In Manchester, they throw chocolate on the ice after every win now because of this. Did you know that?
Really?
Yes.
No, I
Mm-hmm.
did not know that.
Yeah, because I had
Why?
the because I had the captain on and asked him what kind of chocolate he liked, and then they beat Sheffield Steelers the next night,
Oh,
and then they threw some chocolate, and then I had the next player on, and then the next player, then the bus driver, then the match night announcer, then some fans, and next thing you know, it's a chocolatey storm after every win. Yeah.
wow.
So after Batchy's testimonial, May 27th, folks, make it rain chocolate for my U9 gals, right? And then I can bring home the chocolate to my girls, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. You think it'll make it home to the girls?
Yeah, I'm not much of a chocolate eater. I'm more of a beer drinker.
Beer. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to Cardiff for the chocolate, but I'd
Hey,
love to
have
get
you
it.
ever had a Slovak or well, Czech? We drink mostly. There are Slovak pilsners, which are nice, but of course the Czech pilsner, Pilsner Urquell and
Yeah, I have had those. They're a nice
Krušovice and
beer,
stuff
aren't
like
they?
that. They're very nice beer. Very nice.
When I went to Prague, it was one of my favorite beers I ever had was it was a dark Czech beer.
Okay.
I don't
All
remember what it
right.
was
I
called
haven't
though.
really dabbled with the dark ones. They do it by degree. It's like 12 degrees is the dark one, and 10-degree wheat or whatever the degree is for
Okay,
is
I
the
got a
light one.
question, but because now that I'm an aspiring coach here in minor hockey, you're only speaking English in the room. Do you even know Slovak?
I don't know that much Slovak. No, I mean I know obviously the words you pick up are the simple greetings and the swear words. So I know the swear words quite well because I hear them 500 times a day on the ice. But I don't. It's a tough language as well, and it's quite different than any other language that I've dabbled with. So, I would like to take some lessons.
Does
Um,
every player on your team speak English?
no, this year we didn't have any problems, but we also had a Russian player, Denis Parshin, who was probably knew the least amount of English, but there were a couple guys who didn't speak very much English. But of course, hockey language is pretty universal. I mean, they're still saying breakout and forecheck and back check and
Paycheck?
stuff like that. They all know how to say paycheck for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, use a forecheck, back check, paycheck. So,
I do need help with the translation once in a while with certain guys if I'm talking to them about any details. I mean, we have
like
a lot
turnover,
of Slovak
turnover. Yeah.
stop and start. They usually understand the things I repeat the most, like off in your spots, and
No swooping.
they understand. Yeah, flybys, no
Flybys.
flybys. But we also have, this team has a lot of veteran Slovaks who have played in the States or been around, and they all are perfectly fluent. So they translate for me usually in the dressing room. When I would coach in Banska Bystrica, we had a assistant coach, Ivan Dropa, my assistant. He translated every word I said. The club wanted it that way because there were more guys who didn't speak English, including the assistant captain. So they didn't want them to feel left out, which was I appreciated that. That made sense.
So you would
So
say something,
everything I
and then
said,
they would say it back, and then
yeah,
he would say it, and then you'd keep going. Then he'd
Ivan
say
would
it.
repeat it. Exactly. Yeah. And that's not easy. Like, he did a really good job. It made like video sessions and stuff that much longer. I had to be more economical with my words, which was a good learning experience as well. Now that I don't have a translator, I just go on and on.
Yeah.
Like now. But yeah, that worked well for there, and then here worked well. I mean, I had a Finnish assistant this year, and I mean, he spoke. We had two Finnish guys, so there was a lot of different languages
It's
going on in
interesting
the dressing
culture in a
room.
room, eh? Like every place I think you grow up and where you're from makes you who you are. And your squad had Slovaks, a Finn was your top scorer. Canadians, a Swede,
Yep.
Russians, Czechs, and a couple Ukrainians played a couple matches.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah, interesting about with the Ukrainians and the Russian. I mean, the two Ukrainians were very young, so that we didn't. I have no idea. I don't even, to be honest, I don't know what the politics, if any, that our Russian player had. He's a good person, and that's all I know. Never really discussed that. Didn't get into the dressing room, his
yeah,
political leanings. But what you just know, you can tell so easily if you got a good dressing room, or you have some. You don't have as close a. I've never really seen a bad dressing room, but when you don't have one that's as tight, and then you go into a dressing room that's super tight,
you
like
see it
ours was this
easily.
year, it's so good. Like, as
Mhm.
a coach for sure too, it's so nice because they do
Yeah.
a lot of the. I mean, they do some of the coaching, and we had good leadership. You can't win championship without good leaders.
Mhm.
We had some great leaders in our dressing room of
And
different,
the
like,
tightest teams, I think, win the most because they're willing to do it for each other. They don't need the coach to be pushing them
right,
because they love each other and they're going to
right.
do it for each other, right?
That's exactly right. They want to
But
win
the
so
coach
bad for
builds
each
that
other.
culture. Ken.
We try, yeah. It doesn't always work, of course, but you
Sometimes they can be
sure
such
try to.
big dicks, right? That it actually brings the team together because everybody's like, we all hate that dude so much that we're going to come together. I've seen
Well,
that too.
that's the old school coaching model for sure. I don't know if it works as I think it's less likely to work now, but back in the day, for sure would work because guys weren't going to mutiny or anything, and then they would band together and say, screw this guy, we're going to win it for each other.
Yeah.
But now the guys were just like, screw this guy, I'm not doing what he says.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the newer school mentality. That's why you got to be
Yeah,
nice to everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
I
have
think
respect for
but
everybody, that's for
players
sure.
that have fun playing hockey play better, right? And when they enjoy coming to the rink,
Yeah.
it's more fun. And for me, like in Vojens, I enjoyed coming to the rink. Your practices were good. We had fun. We competed, and also there wasn't that much else to do in Vojens.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, so you like coming to the rink
a
because you
rare,
had
a
nothing
rare,
else to do all day.
a rare city where you're like, I got to get to the rink for something to do.
Yeah,
Usually,
you're like, let's get out
practice
of the
is
rink so we
over.
can go do something.
You've done your, yeah.
Oh gosh. Um. Okay, what else do I got? Poster pick. It's the team pick of the team on the ice with the trophy all together with all the fans in the background behind you. Those are my favorite pictures in hockey. And I replicated that with my under 9 house league gals this year. We won the
Did you?
championship at the end and we were going to take a team photo. And I'm like, you have to go over in front of all your parents and siblings because it takes everybody to
Yeah.
win. And the culture we built
Yep.
as a team has to do with all of these people in this picture. And those pictures
Yeah.
make me so happy because it takes everybody to win. And when you get to see everybody in the photo together that makes it happen, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great pictures. That's right. And there's always so much joy on everybody's face. There's always a few people who you're like, like not behind, but in the picture with the guys that you're like, who's that?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you get in there?
Just random people jump in there, but they're all so happy. Everybody's so happy in those pictures. Yeah, they're awesome. There's always some kids. Some of the players or coaches' kids are in there. It's fantastic.
Well, and then in Sunderski, I had Colby on my knee in that team photo. And what's hilarious is the last guy I had on before you, Anders over Mark Larson. I zoomed in on that championship team photo, and he's right above me and Colby. And then Chris Straube is right behind him or beside him. And you talk about all the joy on people's faces. He had a straight game face, not couldn't see any teeth, no smile, no joy. He looked as serious as you could get in the championship photo. I sent it to Durs, and Durs writes back, man, Straube really doesn't look very happy there.
Yeah. I don't know how much human emotion that Chris had.
Bit of a robot. I haven't talked to him since I left Denmark either. Yeah, we crossed paths lots. I should get him to the shed and have a chat, eh? When you resigned, he took over for a bit, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, I got fired.
You fired?
It says on the Elite Prospects, yeah,
that's nice,
yeah,
right?
I mean, that's the nice way to say it. Somebody at Elite Prospects was nice when they wrote resign, but no, I got released. I got fired.
Right.
Straubs took over for the rest of that season. Then he went to the DL2 the following season.
Wasn't it Whitewater, Weisswasser, where he's a bit of a legend?
Weisswasser. Yeah, that's right.
Beautiful Whitewater, Germany, folks. Yeah. How do you pick your assistant coaches?
Well, here, so I came in because they fired the coach who was here and brought me in, and it was a Finnish head coach and a Finnish assistant coach, and they weren't like a package deal. They didn't know each other before they worked together that season, so it wasn't like super tense when I came into the dressing room.
Yeah.
And then they left it to me if we were going to keep him or bring in somebody quickly. And Timo Sawakowski is his name. We bonded right away. He thought hockey the same way as I did. So we had that magical run last year, and then so we worked together this year. He's now got a job. Actually, I don't know if it's official, so I guess I can't say. But he's not going to be here next year. So we're in the position again where I have to find an assistant coach. So I haven't personally signed many. Straubs, we got recommended him, and I had an interview with him, and we did the full process. So you were with him for years in signing. Yeah, we were together for five years or something, 4 or 5 years. And then Banska Bystrica, they were already there, so now I have to
find one.
We'll be interviewing guys and find one. It's so important. Like,
it is important to build their culture, though, right? You got to have people that are saying the same message as you are, and also coming across kind of similar too, right?
Yeah, you have to trust each other 100%. But first of all, especially I think even more so the head coach with the assistant. But of course, the assistant has to know that the head coach isn't going to make him look silly or degrade him or anything like that. So it's a two-way street, and then you got to obviously trust the hockey knowledge and all that. And then a hard thing for me is giving enough responsibility to my assistants, because I do a lot. I do almost everything in different places, so it's hard for me to give responsibility.
Delegate.
That's something I'm really good at. Yes,
I find it very interesting myself when you mention that, is when I watch a few NHL games these days right now in the playoffs, and it comes down to the last minute, they've pulled their goalie and they take a timeout. The head coach just stands there, and then some assistant coach is drawing up the play and telling everybody what to do. And it's like,
Yeah.
huh, that's not the head coach's job.
Yeah. Often you see that, or the power. I mean, the power play. Yeah. I mean, NHL's obviously.
Totally
I
different
see
now.
that in our league. I can't believe it in our league where, I mean, the assistant coaches are very competent and everything, but they're not like in the NHL. Most of the assistants are former NHL head coaches, and
Yeah.
like, of course, they really know their stuff. And the head coach in the NHL has so many responsibilities. Like media time is such a huge drain on their time and stuff like that. So they absolutely have to give up a lot. Although I heard not Montgomery, the Boston coach this year, but the previous one for years.
Oh, that
Um,
Cassidy guy.
and yeah, Bruce Cassidy, he he loves the power play so much. I read it somewhere that
He
he
takes
just
that.
can't not
Mm,
run the P because he knows that he'll be over his assistant's shoulder, and that's not a healthy
right.
thing
That'd be
to
the
do.
same
That's
with
what I
me
found is
too.
interesting.
I would want to run the power play if I was the head
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I have given away the PK at times, but it's so hard to give away anything because you want to be so involved and but the PP I couldn't give up either.
Yeah. Well, and then when you're running the PP and it's like, well, when we're practicing practice, we're probably gonna be doing it both at the same time. It's like I may as well just take both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to actually practice the PK when you're practicing PP. First of all, because you're overlapping some of the players, so the PP guys aren't
Yeah.
going to be PKing in the PP practice. And then as a coach, you really, really want to watch the PP and
Yeah.
watch the details and that. Even that for anyway, maybe if I was a defensive guy my whole life, I'd be more focused on the PK. But anyway, yeah, we had the best PP and the best PK in the league this year, so I was pretty
Oh,
proud of
that
that.
yeah, that usually wins championships.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big
that
deal.
was regular season. This Michelotza series, the semifinals, we did not score one power play goal in the whole series. The best power play in the league. It drove me. It was one of the most frustrating things in my whole career that
Okay.
we couldn't unlock their PK. So frustrating.
That would be. And it's frustrating for the guys running the half wall too. Like when I'm running a power play, if I go a game or two without making something happen, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off myself, you know?
Yeah, and then you get frustrated, and then
Especially
it
playoff
gets
time.
worse.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, it gets pressurized situation. You're frustrated. Usually, it slows down. The pace of your puck movement slows down, and then it gets worse. And then you start taking shots when you should be passing. You don't read the game. You get blinders on, and it all snowballs.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you pass when you should have shot and you get, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you get a lucky
exactly.
one. And then all of a sudden you're back on track.
That's usually what you need. Yeah. Our
Mhm.
first game of the finals, we scored two, just like that. After 7 games with nothing, we got two in the first game, and then our PP was okay in the finals.
Okay, well, since I'm going to be coaching the fellas again next season, I got to pick your brain here as a coach. You guys doing the drop back on the power play?
Yeah, our first unit always does the two back,
So
two
how
guys
I'm
back.
trying to figure out how I'm going to teach that to under 11s, you know? Sorry, under 13s
Yeah,
next
that's
year.
it. Yeah, I don't know. I have zero experience with any players under 18, so I don't know what is normal to be expected. Like I
Mm.
got asked a few years
I want
ago
to
by a
change the
buddy, "Hey,
game.
you got to come out with our guys." Yeah, you want to revolutionize
Yeah, minor
U13
hockey.
hockey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it is
Seriously
possible. I
though,
have no
I
idea.
can I can just picture it now is when we do that, if the D-man can skate up to the blue line and then throw it back to my two fastest kids and they got
Yeah.
no gap and they're standing still, they will go right through them and we're gonna do it.
If that should work. Here's a tip that I do. I mean, I don't see it as much in the NHL, but I keep the the guys who are picking up the puck that are being dropped to the two guys who are back. I keep them equidistant apart. Like that's what I tell them I want them to be. So if the puck carrier moves right, then the guy without the puck should move right. They don't spread out. so that the next pass you freeze the F1, and then the next pass is short. So they attack through the middle and down the wall, or not quite at the wall.
I was thinking
line.
to tell them to
and
go
then,
up the dots. You're saying they adjust based on where the puck carrier
well, they
goes.
start at the dots, so it's an easy drop, and then they adjust with the puck carrier, because, and I would imagine that would be even more important for young guys, that because they're making a cross ice pass. If they're too far apart, that pass won't be successful that often.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the guy making the drop pass back, right?
Yeah, that's not easy to do, especially if you got a little pressure on you to drop it nicely in there.
But you can almost, when I watch it now,
wheelhouse.
you can almost like they almost shoot pass it like backwards. Like they almost turn around and like pass it right back, right? Like I think that's easier than dropping it. But anywho, I remember doing that way back in Bietigheim. Stefan Robitaille would drop it back to me, revolutionizing in the second league of Germany. It's so fun when you're a skill guy getting that puck.
Yeah. Did you guys, who was, we did the drop when you played for me, but I think you were in the first wave of guys. And
I don't think we did do
probably
it.
spelling, and we
didn't do it yet.
We had, no, I thought we did. I
think we were doing like a double
Corky
swing, or we were doing like Corky and I coming back and swinging with someone else, and then there'd be a stretch guy. Yeah. Corky's a player though, eh? That little bugger did well for you, didn't he?
Yeah, what a great player.
Did you see Spelling just won again?
Yeah, I did. Holberg won it again. They're a dynasty now.
Yeah, well, do you know who we beat though? Is my buddy Mac, the goalie for Herning. And did you know that they throw Twix on the ice in Herning, Denmark now? Did you know I'm a Blue Fox fan now?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a huge Blue Fox fan. No. Yeah, because they throw Twix on the ice and they think fun is fun and their goalie's awesome. And yeah, they never asked me to kindly leave. They actually let me get a gold helmet because we beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Which it's right back there somewhere, folks. My gold helmet. It's right behind there.
That was a fun series too, because we could not beat them all year. What did we lose? Like 8 in a row to them, including the Poco
what
final?
Was weird was we played them in preseason and beat the wheels off them, and then we never beat them anymore. Like once they beat us in that Pokal final, then they won the first 2 games of the finals, and we were like, what is going on here?
Those first 2 games were like 7 and 8, or 6 and 7 that we were lost in a row against them. We were like, we just can't beat them. And then we just tweaked a few things and flipped Corey and
I think I went with Spelling and Walters, and then Corky went with the ass man.
Just for something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we won 1, and then we won 3 in a row. Just all of a sudden, it just clicked. That was so interesting about momentum, how it works.
Well, and then we were up 3-2, and we go there, and we got the wives and children there ready to do it, and then we lost, and we're going to game 7 at home, and holy moly, it's interesting when you get into those playoffs and trying to sleep at night when your brain starts racing about everything that's going on, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then what was the score when all of a sudden they started pushing? We were up 3-1 or 4-1.
I think we were up 4-1 going in. We were up 4-0 going into the third period of game 7, and then they scored 2 within like 5-6 minutes. Yeah. Then we puckered up a bit.
And then at 4-2, then they get a Lasse Lassen, the great player from Herning there.
Gamer.
He got a breakaway. Yeah. And Alfie made the save. Otherwise, it would have been 4-3 with about 8 minutes left. And at that point, I said, like, I couldn't call a timeout fast enough. I was almost breaking my fingers calling a timeout, making sure the ref saw me. And we took a breath, and I think we relaxed a little bit after that.
It was that series was really fun, but it was fun because we won, right?
Yeah, of course.
They were good though, and like their coach had them play at hockey a hard style, straightforward, right? Their imports were not making many plays; they were chipping and chasing, and right.
Yeah. Todd Bjorkstrand.
Yeah. So, what's Slovak food like? What's your favorite dish?
Oh, you would love it.
I love a lot of food.
It's
Yeah.
I don't know
Body,
why I would assume
but
that. Like
body like a bag of milk.
it's very meaty food. Like lots of pig knees and
Pig
like this
knees.
huge pig knee comes out. Yeah. So on all these celebrations we've had in the last week and a bit, there just comes out these big smorgasbords of mostly meat,
Really?
pig joints and ham and like the only vegetable on there are like pickles and sauerkraut type
So
stuff.
why do you think I'd
Like
like this place? No
just
vegetables,
seems
eh?
like food you would like.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Pig
it's like
pig knees,
it's
I get it.
man food is what I would
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
Beer food too. So
Beer
that
food.
that's
Yeah.
why I think you would love it. It's you
And
if you don't have you
you're
got to have
probably
it for
almost
sure.
eating it with your hands, almost like, right? Are you eating meat with
Oh
your
yeah, there's a
hands?
lot of
Yeah.
grease flying around, and yeah,
Hmm.
there's. I mean,
Yeah. Talk dirty to
yeah,
me,
it's
Dan.
really meaty. Oh yeah, you're getting excited. That's definitely.
It is
We had a
lunchtime.
fantastic buffet last on Wednesday at this hotel. Like the big celebration for sponsors and management and all that. It was unreal. Cabbage rolls,
Yeah.
goulash soup, just
You're still talking dirty
incredible.
to me. What's weird for
Yeah,
me is when you're out of the game, and you've got spreads like that and meals like that, and you go on road trips. And I remember in the second league of Germany, we'd stop at some Italian restaurants on the way to a game, and I couldn't have been more hot and bothered from the food. Like it was so good. And all the food you eat in Europe, and then you know what? The nice clothes people give you too. They give you hoodies, they give you nice jackets to wear. Like in
yeah,
Denmark, they gave us great jackets, great winter
yeah.
jackets. And then you stop playing, people stop giving you really good food and free clothes. And then all of a sudden, you just don't get that stuff anymore. And then you start wearing the same clothes for like a decade, right? I still wear a Team Denmark shirt that Thomas Spelling gave me. Two of them, actually.
I still have some of those jackets. I think I need to update my wardrobe a bit. I have some of those jackets that with JBR, remember? JBR
Yeah.
was our clothes provider, that Jan Rasmussen, which was, if anybody in Denmark is listening, it was his birthday either today or yesterday. I saw it on Facebook. He was a great dude. Liked his beers.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us all the nice clothes there in
Yeah,
Denmark.
and that was really
So
nice
yeah,
jackets. I remember the nice jackets they gave us. It's like the warmest jacket I still have owned was my Hellbronner Falcon jacket from the year before that, and I was still wearing it this winter. It's really starting to fall apart, but like it's a hell of a jacket. But yeah, the food you eat in pro, like it's really good over there. Can really change your life. Yeah.
Well, we get fed every game day, whether it's road or home, which is really nice. That's the tradition here. So we're eating a lot of chicken and pasta, and it's always good. But
Mm-hmm.
it's through the playoffs, the amount of pasta, because I don't really eat pasta anymore. As
Watching
a,
your figure in your
as
old
a
age.
yeah, I am. So the amounts of pasta in the playoffs was worrying
A
me.
bit excessive. I still
Yeah.
remember your old man workouts in Vojens. So you just get on the elliptical and cruise.
Well, I think because of I don't really do cardio barely anymore because of I'm pretty sure it's the amount of stress in my life that I don't need to do cardio, but I still do those just exactly the same weight workouts that I've always done. Basically beach
I
workouts.
didn't see you lift a weight. I saw you on the elliptical like an old man.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't exercise at all anymore. I just come out to my shed and laugh and work on my ab muscles. You know?
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
that's
have to
true. It is a
exercise. I
good
just
workout.
laugh
Just
now. Yeah.
chuckling away. Yeah.
Yeah. Chirping my friends in the shed. So if you're out on the town in Slovakia, in Košice, and you've won a championship and you're having a time running amok, what kind of food are you getting into before bedtime? Is there like kebabs?
um,
Is there Slovakian
there
kebabs?
there are kebabs. They're not any different than any other kebabs. They're the same as
Yes.
normal. And It's an interesting line of questioning we're going through right now.
Sorry, I'm all over the map. I know it's
I think
lunchtime here.
it says no, it just it says a lot about the questioner, the interviewer, and
Yeah,
about
I got
kebabs
issues,
and
folks. Why do you think I was asked to kindly
pizza.
leave?
I mean, I don't go out much during the season anyway. Obviously, over the last week, a lot more. But pizza is the easy one. There's pizza joints everywhere. There's nothing really special
Very
here.
similar to
The one
the
thing about
European cities,
Slovakia,
right? Same sort of shit.
yeah, all the big cities, exactly. But the interesting thing about Slovak food and how they serve it is all with every lunch meal, and a lot of dinners, but it's definitely every lunch, you get soup. And you usually get it in a tureen, like a communal for the table soup bowl, and you scoop it out
You ladle
into
it
your
out.
bowl. You ladle it out into a bowl, and it's always delicious, like broth with some
That
noodles
sounds
and
lovely.
vegetables. Yeah, and it's really kind of cool because you're eating like communally.
Right.
And no matter what, we could be eating our chicken and pasta, and then we get this soup. You have to have soup.
Yeah, well, soup's nice. Kind of underutilized soup. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it's broths and noodles. Do you ever try the pancake soup over there that they have in Germany? Good gosh, is
No,
it something? Mm, okay,
no. But
sorry.
speaking of pancake, they're big on pancakes here, like different kinds of uh, what are they called in Germany? Because I can't remember what they're called here. Like doughy things that you mop up the gravy with, that kind of
Mm,
thing.
like a almost like a biscuit type deal.
Yeah, when they're in different kinds. Some are like steamed bread, some are like a harder one, some are got some meat in there, and yeah, that's a lot of meals come with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then you
Well,
got
I
your pierogies. You got your pierogies
pierogies are
here.
good. Yeah.
Pierogies, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
more Polish, but they have it here in Slovakia.
that's good stuff. I like that stuff. Now I'm officially hungry. And I only have a couple more weird questions for you, you know? What are your pregame speeches like now? Because I got into pregame speaking back in professional hockey after our time together. And that was also one of the times I was dressed as a mascot, as the devil, but naked. Um, but what are your pregame speeches like? How do you do like the give the card to one of the players and like announce the starting lineup like everybody else does? What are you doing?
No, I just my I haven't changed a whole lot. I just try
Cool,
to
calm, and collected. Just come in and have a talk about what we're gonna
I
do to them.
Yeah, the 1 2 hours before the game is about systems. Maybe a quick like that's when I might talk about some mental preparation stuff, especially in the playoffs, about how we need to be control our emotions and things like that. And then or if we're like had a bad game the game before, like we need to get a little more fired up here, and then right before the game, you just go over your 5 or 6 key points that are more like emotion based, and
Mm-hmm.
then try to try to come up with some kind of 1 or 2 sentence, very basic thing that'll get some adrenaline going.
Yeah.
And then I just say the line and the goalie, and let's go. And then the boys in the finals, man, you could just feel the energy. There's like let's say Polly, we had Brett Pollock was our center. Polly's line and Ricci in the pipes, and then it'd be like roar, just a massive roar of it. Just, so cool! Like I'd
It's
be
so
fired
fun,
up to
isn't
get
it?
out there.
Yeah. Getting
Yeah,
fired up for
yeah,
hockey. I miss that shit. I used to get pretty fired up. Yeah.
yeah.
I that's what I liked about the pregame speeches was doing that. But like now with the kids, what I do is there's one year, every year is different, right? But I had an assistant coach that was more into X and O's than like the pump up type deal. So he'd go in and have his X and O's speech, and then I'd come flying in, right? I'd get the boys just fired up, and then we'd go. And I'd have like the siblings of the players make sure every door was open all the way to the ice, so there's no stopping them. Soon as it was go time, they're
Yep,
running
yep.
out to the rink. Like,
Running. Yeah,
yeah, it was go time.
we had the we had the flames. Like the guys ran out through the flame
Oh, that's
blast pots.
fancy.
yeah, really, like I could feel it all the way over the bench. He was like in the Zamboni corner. I could feel it on the bench. And we had a big Czech guy, like 6'5", 6'6", and somehow he caught, like they ran through a inflatable like archway,
Yeah.
and then to the flash pods, and somehow he caught his stick or his helmet or something, caught the inflatable thing, and it went whoosh, right over. If it would have hit the flash pod, I don't know what would have happened. It would have been, it would, flames would have been spewing onto
Everywhere.
the ice. Yeah,
That could have got
could have been
exciting.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, folks, when I go to Josh Batch's testimonial, there is a raffle to help pay for all the Shed Guys flights over there. aleshockeytales.com. It's a Josh Batch testimonial jersey with Walton 18 on the back. You know, get your tickets, folks. So you have been a coach now, head coach for about, it looked like about 10, 12 years, eh? You've won 5 championships. So what are your aspirations as a
Well,
coach?
I mean, every year you just hope to be on a team that has the resources and the possibility of winning a championship. Because I often, oops, I just, uh,
And he's back. What were we talking about?
yeah, just about like what's my aspirations. Every year
Yeah.
is to win the cup. You know,
Yeah. Whatever league you're
it's the
in,
best.
right? And
Yeah,
it's weird for me is like there was people that told me I was going to run out of guys when I was doing so many when I started this. It has
yeah,
snowballed so out of control. And it's like with what's going on in hockey right now, there's like 50 guys I want to have on because they're either winning championships, they're losing championships, they're signing different places. And that's how this works though, is like, you know, there's chicklets that they all talk just about the Stanley Cup. Everybody in North America only talks about the Stanley Cup. There's a lot of other trophies in pro hockey, and they all are very important to those countries and those teams and those organizations.
yeah. The passion and it's just winning. Winning is, like we already talked about. Winning is incredible, and like you said, it's not just for like personal pride. You feel great as a coach. That's what makes, to me, winning as a coach is better than winning as a player, because you see how much goes into it, and of course you do so much. I mean, you put so much more time in than you do as a player. So it's so, but then you also, you, I mean, guys may be having personal problems during the year. You might be helping them through that, uh, or of course, health issues, and you're trying to help them through that. And so you have all these guys that are relying on you, and to win is so, plus the community and all that. It's so rewarding to win. It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, and you just did that. That's neat. And for me, the coaching, I didn't realize how much I loved it until like I did the tyke where you skate around with pylons with the kids and they'd shoot it on the net. But then when my son was on a team with his friends and we were trying to win trophies and going to tournaments and trying to win them, and I was trying to figure out how to get each player better and trying to figure out what buttons to press, what pregame speeches to do, who to put out there at the right times. And then, like this year with the girls, I started the year. I just wanted them all to love hockey. I just wanted them all to play again and enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
that's perfect. That's
then when you see
perfect.
them grow and become a team, it's very fulfilling as a coach, isn't it?
Super, super fulfilling and rewarding when it all, especially when it all works. But I mean, you can certainly have the season be over and you're like, what a great year that was, and had these things happen. And but I mean, then when you win and you see how happy everybody is about it, and you can take some responsibility for that, it's incredible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. Um, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you staying in Slovakia then? You're going back there, I guess. So you gotta, do you pick the players?
Me and the sport manager work like 50-50.
Is it
I mean,
like, do you find
he
players and
like
then like tell them to zoom to your shed and then you like undress them with your questions to get to know them?
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's some guys you talk to for 15 minutes, some guys you talk to for an hour and a half. You know, some you have chemistry with certain guys like yourself. They're super easy to talk to, and you can talk all night. And other guys are like
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
kind of guys. Doesn't make them bad guys. They're just
No.
not conversationalists. And so, yeah, first, of course, we get names from agents, and then we look through the video, and then talk. Then the next stage is talking to the guys and getting a feel. And then there's our sport manager goes to work and hopefully negotiates it, and we get a deal. But also, our sport manager, just want to make a brief point of this. He's a great human being. Um, didn't I didn't have great experiences in Austria. Not that they were bad guys, just didn't have the best experience. And it's really nice to work with a guy
That gets it.
his name is Gabby Spiller, he's a former player. I mean, almost all guys are in the business, but former player a few years ago, and he's just a good person. He wants to do everything the right way. Sometimes we as an organization aren't able to do it exactly the way we'd like, but he tries, I try, so we're exactly aligned on that kind of thing. We want, like, it's the players who matter. They need to be taken care of. So yeah, and then
Happy
we
hockey
try to
players
build
play
the
better.
team.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if they get treated professionally, they're more likely to
Take it
to
professionally.
be to
Yeah.
behave professionally. And also, if we've done our checks, our character checks properly,
Yeah.
then they will be guys who respond well to that, to being treated that way.
Yeah. And there's been a couple times here now as a coach that you've taken over teams like mid-season. So you're taking over, like even last season there, we have your magical run, and you only had 6 regular season games to get into that and get to know everybody. But like, what's it like taking over a team compared to building a team from the start and like picking the players compared to just taking over a team and you don't even know them?
Well, I do have to say, I mean, I knew when I came here last year, mid-season or right towards the end, I knew some of the players. That helped. That, I mean, one of them suggested that they sign me, so that I had his backing in the room right away.
And that's
I'd
awesome.
also won a championship. Yeah, yeah, and he was a leader, Merrick Bartanos, and of course, I'd won a championship here, so you get instant respect. They had been struggling. They needed a fresh voice and a different style of play as well. And so I had a completely different, just happened I had a completely different approach to the coach who'd been here. So they were, and they had a pretty good team, like skilled anyway. So they really were craving it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that easy. I just tried to be super simple and super direct, because with 6 games left, I mean, I
You got to get
try to
the,
be as
yeah.
honest and direct as possible, but at that point, there was no other solution. It had to be first video session. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. If we're going to do that, we're not going to win. Like, it had to be that direct.
I
And I actually learned
totally
a
know
lot
what you
from it
mean by
too.
that though. I watch
Yeah,
games now. I watch it in the NHL. I watch it in minor hockey. You watch it in senior hockey around here. It's like you see people do stuff in a game and you're like, well, that's not good enough. You don't win doing that. You can't win a championship by
yeah,
doing stuff like that. And you see it all the
right,
time. And it's like, well,
yeah,
your team's not going to win as soon as you start doing shit like that.
right, yeah, right. Bad habits, and you can tell it's at our level or around this kind of in Europe or whatever. You see, or you watch video of players and you see, like, oh man, those are bad habits, and some may not be able to be corrected, but some they obviously aren't being demanded to be corrected. So you gotta fix those, as hard as it is, confrontation and all that. Guys, well, I learned a lot last year when I got here. I was super direct, and guys were just craving to be better as a team. So they ate it up and they loved it. And they came to me and said, "We haven't seen this kind of video, and we need it." And so that's
And
how
you
I
don't you
approach.
don't
I mean,
have to,
that's
you can say you have to be better, that this isn't good enough, but like you don't have to be like a full-blown dick about it, right? You can just say
right.
like, this is how we're going to win, is by not doing this and not doing that. And it's not like I'm not calling you
Yeah,
out as a person. I'm saying this is what we need to
right.
clean up.
Yeah, that's really, really, really key, is that they don't feel like anybody's being picked on, or that, because even if it's one guy and you're picking on somebody else will feel like, okay, maybe I'll be next. So it has to be so fair, and you even got to try to try to spread it out equally. even though as a coach, you're watching a video and you just see mistakes. I mean, it's so
And you
they
see it
pop out
more
off
with
the screen.
one guy, and you're like, well, I can't just blaze
Right.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't give this guy day after day. So I got to spread it around. So yeah, 'cause then it just feels like you're bullying people.
How have you chosen your captains in the past? See, you know what I do when I come out to the shed? I'm just trying to learn from people about hockey. See this? I'm learning from a championship coach here.
Well, I mean, if you're lucky, you come in and there's an established captain already.
Yeah.
So we had two no brainers. I like to have four as well. I almost always have four. I don't know what,
One
maybe
captain
maybe
and
because
three
it's
assistants.
three assistants, and then if somebody's hurt or something, then you have an automatic guy who goes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then your leadership is automatically bigger, and you don't have to exclude anybody. Even though I always have a leadership group of like six or seven or eight guys, but the letter is it's important, and guys feel pride in it. If I think three guys deserve the A, I really want to give them the A. So we had an import and the Czech guy who were great leaders. So
What is your import
we
rule
had
in that league?
four guys, seven.
7 non-Slovaks.
Yeah. So this Czech guy, Jakub Ferenc, who was a fantastic leader and great player. He's Czech, but he was able to get a Slovak passport. He was born in Slovakia. So that was one of our big moves that we did this year. We signed him as an import, but knew that he would get his passport through the year.
And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you
so
got an
then
extra player come playoffs.
Exactly.
Well played. What's your favorite drill you do? If you ask your players, what's the best drill Dan Ceman does? What do you think they'd say?
Well, they would probably say the one he likes the most is 2-on-2 box out drills, because I do box out drills a lot, and
I remember your
more than the
box out
D.
drills. I remember them. You'd get it. You'd start in the corner. You'd pass it up to the D, and then the D man would try and stop you from getting to the net. And then I'd have to shimmy and shake my way around Daryl Andrews to the net. I remember.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the shots coming in too.
Yeah.
Quite frequently.
While you're mucking it up around the net.
Yeah. So you're spin moves and stuff. They're working on getting to the net, and then there's a shot coming at you. So they're not that much fun, but I love the competitiveness of those drills. So those are some of my favorite drills, but not probably the players.
After that shot from the point, though, right? Each guy puts it up to the point, 2 shots. Then didn't you have us like go out to the neutral zone for a 2-on-2 regroup with those D that had shot?
I used to have a regroup in that. Now they just quick breakout from behind the net and go straight down, because the regroup slows it down so much when you're standing around too long. So there's no regroup. They just go immediately from a box out to take right off back down.
So then the guys they were just mucking it up with, or then the D passing it to them. I got you.
Right. Yeah, they retrieve it and throw it up at the middle, and then because we work on middle exits all the time, and then the D who were shooting now become the defenders.
Yeah. Well, I plan on winning the championship next year. Just trying to pick your brain a little bit.
I don't know how many hard physical box outs you're demanding from your U13s, but
they can still learn how to muck it up by doing that, right?
Yeah, keep in body position, staying inside.
I bet you they've never even been told about boxing out. I bet you nobody's even said anything to them about boxing out.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Yeah. Well, you just gonna
6-inch cross checks. I love the terminal. I don't know if I was using it back then when I was coaching you, but the 6-inch cross check. That's a Barry Trotz.
I know what you mean by saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little whammies.
You're not teaching those little short ones right at the base of the spine, or as low as you can go.
At Western Michigan, we called those whammies. Yeah.
Whammies.
Yeah. And you don't cross check further than 6 inches, because then you could get a penalty, right?
Yeah, because you're gonna really knock down the guy and draw attention to yourself, and you don't want to be too high up the body, because then the next step snaps back, and you're probably.
But you can't be too low, because then his heels will shoot out. You gotta just get right on the low back there, right on the hips.
Well, if it's too low, you're gonna be like below the pads. You want to try to catch it in there between the pads and
the shoulder pads
the
and the
bottom of the
pants.
shoulder pads.
Yeah.
That's the stunner. That's when you see guys just kind of lose their ability to move for
They
a
just kind of
second.
wince a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it happening. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know how much you know what's neat for me though is like now when I talk around my shed is all the success my buddies are having in their different journeys around hockey. And I think it's neat that I was one of your first signings as a head coach and now you're still winning in Slovakia a decade later, you know? Because the Cardiff Devils signed a guy to be their head coach. He wins the playoffs last year as an interim coach. They signed him for the full deal this year. And they didn't win a trophy and they let him go. And it's like, well, if you don't win your rookie year as a head coach, maybe you never do get to really dive deep and get into it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was a player coach in Dundee. That was my first.
Right. I
Was
always
my
forget about
first.
that part. I think of
Yeah.
you as because
Well,
it was your first year as head coach of Vojens, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that was my first real coaching,
Not
player coach
playing
for
and
an
putting
expansion
yourself on
team
the
in
first power
Scotland.
play and penalty kill. And yeah.
Yeah. Just calling my own number.
Yeah.
Not
I
so
saw
much
you had
PK,
70 points
just
that
like,
year. What a joke.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I was first PP. I was getting quite a bit of ice time.
You know what else I saw? Your first year in Sunderjuski, you had 7 goals and like 20 something points, and they even asked you back. So what a mess. Put up like 60 or something, 50 something, Just letting you
Leadership qualities.
defensive play. Body like a bag of milk. No, but I think it's really neat that you did that. And I get so excited seeing, like, I call them shed guys and gals, and I say they're the good people in hockey. And I'll never forget that you did reach out that summer and kind of spur me on, and also like to let me know what was going on and that you weren't getting any calls and that it showed you did care. And I appreciated that. So thank you. And it's cool to see good guys winning still.
Yeah. No, thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's always nice to see good people be successful, and
It's amazing how many of them are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it. There's some people who aren't great people who have some success, but it's so much easier if you're liked and respected because people want to pay it back, and yeah, when I let you go there, that was, as I said before, that was even to this day, I've had to let other guys go in more dramatic circumstances too, but that was very difficult because you're such a good dude.
Well, what's weird for me to think about it too, though, when I get the shoe on the other foot, is I coach the under 11s, and next year I'm going to be coaching the under 13s, and I had a culture where these kids love each other; they're brothers for life. And I see they're all like best friends still, and I just got them all back together 2 years later, and we still had that same chemistry as a team and as people. And come the fall, like I'm gonna have to cut like my good buddies, my little buddies that like, and I'm gonna have to do that to them,
Man,
right? And it's like,
I can
well,
imagine
it's gonna be
that's even
something
harder with little kids. Oh
with
man,
little
that'll be
kids, and
hard.
also you become friends with the parents too, and like
Yeah,
there's probably people that are like, oh, well, if he's the coach, we're, and it's like, well, I don't have politics in hockey. It's going to be the kids that earn it, right? And
right,
yeah,
right.
that's the way I think it should be.
Oh
And it's
man,
going to be horrible.
yeah,
Good thing there's a co-coach. I'll blame
that
it on
will
the
be.
other guy.
Yeah, yeah. That's always good to have somebody else to blame. I wanted you, but
Yeah, I would have taken you,
it was
but
really good.
no, actually, I've already thought about how I'm gonna do it. I think some of the kids will know that they haven't made it, and maybe they're not quite there. And then the ones that are right near the bubble, and I have to make those hard decisions. It's like, if you want to talk about the decision I made, I am here. I will explain what you need to do to get better. I'll explain what my thought process was. And I'm not going to just write it on a website and never tell you. If you want to talk to
Right.
me, I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it.
When I thought it was cool when I first started this, and I had a lot of pent up, frustrations from my hockey career. And when I reached out to you to come on when I was first getting started, you said, absolutely, let's do this. And I really appreciated that. And then like you answered all my hard questions, and it's just like what I would do, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's hockey, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Well, stay in touch this time. Eh? It's been like what, 2 years since episode 15, and
Yeah,
you've done a
yeah,
lot of
yeah. Let's
different
stay in
stuff in
touch. And
that
maybe
time.
I'm going to I'll be in Canada in June, so maybe we can find a way to have a beer somewhere. Maybe in
That's
Kincardine, Ontario.
that sounds lovely. And June is also when Deese is going to be here, and I bet you would enjoy his company.
Oh boy. I do know him
Do
through
you?
others. I've talked to him. And of course I was in Austria when he was in grad, so I
Right.
know who he is.
Oh,
And
he's a
I heard he's a
dandy.
beauty.
He is. He is a shed guy. Yeah, the wife's a little nervous about this 2 week stay.
Yeah.
And she should be.
I can see why, yeah. Yeah.
But no, I can't wait. So yeah, let me know when you're gonna be around, and you should swing up. Maybe we
All
could
right.
even play a whole round
Yeah.
of golf and drink.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Right.
Take you up on that.
And you know what's cool about winning, right? Is like we have those gold helmets for life. If I ever am in one again, like I just won a championship, I do have that head protection for life. And if we don't do that together,
Oh,
we
right.
don't have that, right?
My gold helmets, I think they're in, I got five. They'll be at my parents' house still. So if I come up to see you, I'll bring my one of my gold helmets.
You should.
Just
And
driving down the road with the old gold helmet on.
yeah, it's like when I walked around Vojens walking the dog and Colby when he was a baby in the stroller, and the next morning when I got home, you could call it late or early, whatever you want to call it, and
Right.
took them for a walk with my gold helmet on. Pretty fulfilling stuff.
Yeah.
You can't even get hurt, folks. But seriously, yeah, let me know when you're coming in June. And you know,
I
I
will. I
think
will.
winning makes you brothers for life. And
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
cool the relationships we all have, and winning breeds something different, as a guy once said, right?
Yeah. It
And this has
sure
been
does.
another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Seamanator and Wally.